22. Thunderbird. Sharn followed the Minkera governor's rescue party into hill country south and east of Droppentown. Governor Katrast explained the situation to the other men once they were clear of town. They seemed already to have a distaste for the ones who had captured the children, spitting their disgust at the ground and muttering curses at the mention of the kidnappers' names. Other than wary glances, the men ignored Sharn and gave him space. They walked at a quick pace over rolling hills. Sharn knew if they could not return in time, much, if not all, would be lost in his efforts for peace. If his tribe listened to Watu, they would wait. He knew the warriors, though. They were tired of waiting. With the Minkera's never-ending aggressions and disregard for them, the Quali Danes spoiled for Eastern blood. The governor and his townsmen found the kidnappers' encampment without any trouble. A cluster of huts and tents in a clearing near the road. Sharn noticed a man ambling through the makeshift village, carrying firewood, lolling from side to side as he walked. A few other men slept on the ground, hats over their faces. "Drunk," whispered the sheriff. The governor and his men, along with Sharn, slowly and quietly surrounded the encampment. Sharn's companions made more noise than he liked, but the drunkards in the camp would not have heard even a stampede of Keopi, so it did not much matter. Once in position, the men waited for the sheriff to give the signal. Sharn flipped the spear in his hand, held it so the spearhead hovered just above the ground. With his other hand he felt for the tomahawk hanging at his back. Touching it with his fingers prepared his mind, body, and spirit for what came next. The sheriff whistled a loud, shrill whistle, and the circle of attackers closed in. As it happened, Sharn needed neither spear nor tomahawk. The man carrying the firewood dropped the wood and charged the sheriff. The man was put down with 3 arrows before he had run 6 steps. The other kidnappers cursed or pleaded for mercy, but none attacked. Sharn found the children tied up inside a large hut, faces bruised and thin, but otherwise alive and uninjured. Even the young women seemed mostly unharmed, except one found in a separate tent. She backed away from any who approached, even Sharn. He opened the tent flap so she could see the captured men, lying on the ground, hands tied behind their backs. Before anyone knew what she was doing, the young woman grabbed a minker and axe from outside the tent, ran to where the kidnappers lay, and began hacking into the back of one of them. The man screamed for help, his blood making a rainbow in the air with every upward swing of the axe. "No!" Governor Katrast shouted from the other side of the camp. "Stop her!" Sharn did not move. He did not wish to interfere with the young woman's quest for justice, and it was too late to help the man now anyway. The sheriff ran to the young woman, yanked the axe out of her hand, threw it aside. She continued hammering her fists down on the kidnapper's bloody back. His body convulsed, but he had gone silent. The sheriff turned toward Sharn. "The governor's nephew," he said. Sharn approached the young woman, put his hand on her shoulder. Having poured out her rage, she deflated at his touch. He pulled her up to her feet as Governor Katrast arrived, breathless, staring daggers at the young woman, then at Sharn. The governor fell to his knees beside his dead nephew. Sharn led the young woman away and bid her help untie the rest of the children. She stood like a statue, but returned to herself when one of the little girls called to her. The unbound children flocked to Sharn like hatchlings to a mother Chokwi, shying away from the Minkera men. The governor stood and left his dead nephew. He walked to Sharn with a pale face and cold eyes. His voice, ragged and drained, asked, "Where shall we take them to meet your people?" "The main road," Sharn said, "north of town." "Let's go," the governor said to his men. The sheriff yelled, "Get them on their feet." The other members of the rescue party pulled the kidnappers who were still alive onto their feet and into a line. "The dead?" the sheriff asked the governor. Do the best you can, the governor said. We'll send someone back later. The sheriff looked at the governor's assistant. Help me wrap them up, Jaredin. The two men pulled down a couple tents, rolled the dead bodies inside the fabric, one in each, and left them where they lie. I am sorry for your loss, Sharn said to the governor. Katras looked at Sharn but said nothing. The group made their way back, free children and captured vagabonds in tow. The governor led them along a path short-cutting around town to the north-south road Sharn and Watu had walked in on. He meant to have this conflict sorted and behind him as soon as possible. As they rejoined the main road north of town, Sharn saw his tribesmen emerge from the edge of the forest at the far side of Minkaira farming land. They appeared like shadows into daylight, like ghosts taking shape. For an instant, Sharn understood the fear his people inspired in their enemies. The governor looked at Sharn, anxiety etched across his face. Sharn said, I will meet with them, stay here. He gestured for the children to follow, then walked ahead to meet his kinsman. He stretched his arms wide, signaling his peaceful intent. A shout went up from among the Quali, and the warriors stopped, except for 3 men who continued toward him from the center. He recognized his uncle in the middle. The other 2 were chiefs from neighboring villages, Vinoko of the Upriver clan and Kemiadane of the Western Hills. Sharn Nalwen, his uncle said, placing his hand on Sharn's shoulder. Sharn returned the greeting, then greeted the other 2 chiefs. Here are the captured children, Sharn said, gesturing to the boys and girls crowding around him. The 3 chiefs greeted and inspected the children, then waved them on toward the line of waiting warriors a few paces behind. Are those the men? Kemiadane asked, pointing at the band of kidnappers. Yes, Sharn said. Those 9 in the middle are responsible. Those other men helped us capture them. That one there is the chief of the town. His name is Katrast. He wishes for peace. Vinoko spat. Peace, he said. Does he think one act of justice will cover over 100 evil acts against us? He did not know these men had done this thing, Sharn said. They acted on their own, like when the young men of your village went on a raiding party against the Minkaira river town and caused you all that trouble. Vinoko narrowed his eyes, then looked away and grunted. What of the interlopers? Sharn's uncle asked. The Minkaira chief will give them to us. 2 are already dead. 1 was a relative of the chief. Vinoko spat again. How many of my relatives have I lost because of them? Kemiadane said, I would speak with the chief. Sharn nodded, then walked back to the group of Minkaira men. Choosing his words carefully, he spoke to Governor Katrast. The chiefs of the Quali Dane would like the honor of your presence in their war council. The governor hesitated, then nodded and returned with Sharn to where the 3 chiefs stood waiting. They greeted the governor, and he returned the greeting. Chief Twe'gotch spoke first. My nephew tells us you have been eager to bring justice to the fallen people of our tribe, Chief Katrast. Yes, the governor nodded when Sharn finished translating. I do not wish any animosity between our 2 peoples. Sharn translated this back to the Quali chiefs. That is an easy thing to say when the war party marches on your town, Chief Kemiadane said, but we have not seen the same eagerness in the past when our people have been harassed and our villages raided and our treaties broken. Katrast swallowed. I know relations have not always been good between our peoples, he admitted, but I have ever tried to do my part to keep peace and order in these lands. Sometimes some of our people act on their own. As the governor spoke, a sound like deep thunder rumbled through the cloudless blue sky, drowning out his words. The air trembled and the ground shook, and every eye shot up toward the sky. In the confusion, the kidnappers broke away from their captors. The sheriff drew his bow and shot one in the back. Finoko dispatched 6 warriors to run after the others. Sharn felt a hand grab his shoulder, heard his uncle beside him shouting orders of retreat to the Quali warriors, many already running for cover. Sharn's attention turned to a colorless monster, soaring like a bird on the horizon. It shook the sky and left a trail of cloud in its wake. "Thunderbird!" he heard someone yell. Others took up the call as they ran. "Thunderbird! Thunderbird!" Sharn turned and followed the others to the forest, glancing over his shoulder as he ran. Once behind the tree line, he stopped and watched. The flying creature was bigger now, closer. It flew straight at him. Sharn fought down a wave of terror, resisting the urge to run. The noise grew deafening, all-consuming. He braced himself. The creature veered away north toward the river. Sharn exhaled. He followed the thing with his gaze as it shot away, until it left his sight, its roar echoing across the sky. Sharn rose from his hunter's crouch to his full height. "It's gone now." He heard a change in the creature's roar. It turned. He ducked down again and saw his fellow warriors disappear into the undergrowth. As he peered out from his cover to catch sight of the beast again, Sharn saw a burst of lightning, followed by a series of crackling explosions, like claps of thunder, right where the Minkera town lay. Droppin' Town. The lightning storm vanished. Thunderbird, what else could it be now, flew past the path of smoke and fire it had created. Sharn watched, shocked at its power and speed, the instant destruction it wreaked as he looked on helpless. He heard its rumble in the distance. He wanted to run to the town, but fear of Thunderbird's return held him in place. It circled back, flying slower this time. The giant spirit bird stopped in midair, hovered for a moment, then lowered onto an empty patch of ground close to Sharn and the other warriors. It did not fold its wings, but kept them outstretched, breathing a gust of wind as it settled, which flattened the grass around it and bent nearby trees. Thunderbird's grumbling quieted. Then the hard gray skin of its belly parted and peeled open and fell to the ground. The scab of skin formed a bridge from the ground up to the gaping hole now visible in the spirit bird's underside. A figure like a man emerged from Thunderbird's belly. It stretched its arms wide, looked around. As Sharn watched, transfixed, the figure turned and marched toward he and the other Qualidane. It moved like a man, but its skin shifted and swirled like drifting clouds, white and silver and gray, which made the figure difficult to see clearly as it walked. It was like seeing the sky reflected in a pool of water, the shape of a man. A voice boomed across the field, maybe coming from the walking cloud, or maybe coming from Thunderbird. It said in strangely accented Quali, "No fear, my brothers. I am Twe'gotch, all-powerful spirit of sky and wind and rain and lightning, avenger of your people. I have come in my great flying—" Here he said a word Sharn did not know. "To destroy your enemies, take back what they have taken from you, and bring peace and plenty to your land. Starting today, a new age is upon you, the age of Twe'gotch." Sharn heard gasps and mutterings all along the tree line. "Who is chief over your people?" the voice asked. The Quali, still hiding in the trees, looked for one of the 3 chiefs who had spoken with the governor. Gradually, all eyes fell on Sharn. As nephew to the chief by birth and diplomat by experience, the others silently chose him as their representative to this spirit who had just destroyed a whole Minkera town in the beat of a heart. Sharn stepped out from behind the brush. "Tiwekto is chief of our village," he said. "I am his nephew, Sharn Nolwen." Sharn kept his gaze downward, unsure of how to address Sky Spirit. In the stories, heroes were careful to show respect to the spirits, but not at the expense of their own dignity. "Sharnuen, nephew to Tikto," Twe'gotch said, walking toward Sharn. Do you see, Sharn, what I have done to your enemies? Sharn nodded. Are you not happy about this? Some are enemies to our people, Sharn said, knowing he did not want to upset Sky's spirit, but knowing also the spirit would know a falsehood when he heard one. Others we try to make peace with. Twe'gotch laughed. Do you know the way to truly ensure peace, Sharn? Sky's spirit made a fist with one hand and pounded it into his other hand. Force, he said. Sharn did not expect this from Twe'gotch. Sky spirit brought violent thunderstorms, yes, but also soft rains, hard winds, but also gentle breezes. Maybe Sky spirit was moody, as some claimed, and this was his thunderstorm mood. We will dominate your enemies, Sharn. Then we will make peace, not ask for it. You will take away their choice? Sharn asked. We will give them this choice. Peace or death. That will be their choice. Sharn stared into Sky Spirit's blank, reflective face. No eyes, no nose, no mouth, just a round, smooth surface, like one of Testara's smooth, round stones. And you, Sharn, Twe'gotch said, will be my voice to your people and to your enemies. You will be my voice to them and their voice to me. Together we will remake the world, right all the wrongs, and heal the hearts of your people forevermore.